Welcome to this case study of the Tuakau and Districts Museum and the weed management strategy I have applied for the last year and a bit. So I think it was October 2022 that I first went to the museum and was shown the space behind the building alongside the railway line, the picture on the left, and it had been freshly sprayed with glyphosate. And I said, please, can we stop spraying? Let me plant flowers instead. And so the museum management agreed, and I began making hot compost. I put a call out on the local Facebook page and asked for donations. And one of the volunteers, Sandra, grew sunflowers and bright orange cosmos. That was a really good start. And a local dahlia breeder, Christy Kirkpatrick of Sinclair Dahlias, she gave us a box of dahlia bulbs. So planted the dahlias, and before we knew it, it was November, they grew quickly, and then we were picking flowers every week, and it was just gorgeous. So fast forward a year and a bit, and this is the same view left and right. On the right, you can see that it is now green. And the weeds that are growing here are largely Convolvulus, and this picture on the left is the lily of the valley vine. In the notes, I'll write the official name, and then on the left you can see that there's a huge amount of clover. That if we go back to this photo, the green carpet is actually protecting the soil. It's providing little flowers for the pollinators. And as long as I can keep planting more dahlias, more sunflowers, more shrubs, then that will take up a little bit of space. It's not taken up by weeds. So what you'll see on the right here with this bucket, I've got, I think, 4 buckets that I half fill with water, and then as I'm tending the garden, any convolvulus I find goes into that bucket. I'm at the museum once a week, once a fortnight, and so in that sort of absence, the convolvulus turns black and stinky, and I can then spread that out over any patches that are really strong with convolvulus thriving, and that slows them down a little bit and gives me an empty bucket to top up with water and keep the convolvulus separate. So I'm not putting the convolvulus weed into my hot compost piles. There may come a point when I do something similar with this lily of the valley vine, because it's got roots underground that are really, really long. But for the moment, all the lily of the valley vine is going into compost piles. And I host workshops at the museum, and I pick flowers and give them out in the community, just to keep with dahlias, the more you pick the flowers, the more flower buds they produce. So there was a moment in autumn, I think it was March 2023, when I said, let's pick all the dahlias and have a dahlia day, like we called it, Dazzling Dahlias. I really just wanted to take pictures of the dahlias in the museum setting, like with these old typewriters and things. So here is a photo. This is Christy, who gave us the original dahlia bulbs, and she's given another box with some different colours this year. So huge gratitude to her, and I'm hoping she'll come along and give a talk on breeding and growing from seed and growing from cuttings. So watch out for that on my social media pages. On the right, this little card, plants grown by volunteers at Tuakau and District Museum. So at the museum we have a letterpress print shop, letterpress printer that's fully functioning, and I think there's 2 qualified printers in the group of volunteers. So yeah, it's really nice to be able to use everything at the museum, right down to these old cream bottles that I pinched from the hallway to set up this little display. Other events we've hosted have been seed sowing, seed swaps. This picture on the left is in the school holidays. Yeah, just love being able to invite young people in to learn to grow from seed and grow some flowers at home. So we've had sunflowers. These are little self-seeded cosmos that are now popping up, and I'm putting into pots to to be ready to give out to any other groups in the community who are wanting to start a pollinator garden. Through winter, when there are no dahlias, we had shungiku flowering, and I don't know what this little ground cover flower is called. But the word has spread, and I was invited to go dig up some of the dahlia bulbs at the local Centennial Park. These were all grown by Stuart Graham. They were his mother's dahlias, and so he said, you're welcome to have some more from the park. And so this summer we'll have some of these colours pop up at the museum. Now, being a biodynamic compost coach, of course, I am keen to have some biodynamics happening at the museum pollinator garden as well. And I'm incredibly mindful that with the soil having been sprayed for such a long time, that I wouldn't want anyone growing food in this piece of land. And my belief is that the cowpat pit preparation, the CPP, which has all the biodynamic compost preparations in it, that using that will help restore health to the soil. So Sandra, one of the museum committee, donated the stack of bricks. I went and picked up from her house. And then Dudley here followed the instructions in the Walida Biodynamic Gardening book and dug a hole, made it nice and level, and built this beautiful brick-lined pit for me. And then we hosted a CPP workshop. One of my followers in Auckland drove out and had her rubber gloves and helped me mix the material. So we just this week, it is 21st of January 2024, and I dug up our first batch of CPP, so that's now ready to use. And then in December, we invited Peter Backus, Jill Backus, out to Tuakau to come and see the community projects and scope out the space for future workshops. So this was a brainstorm session we had here. And if you're curious to come and see the Tuakau Museum, it is open on Thursday mornings and Sunday afternoons. Not all of the volunteers would be able to give you a thorough tour of the garden, but they can certainly point out where it is. And if I'm going to be at the museum and have capacity to welcome people in and do a free gardening session, then I generally list that as an event on Humanitics or on the local Facebook page or my own social media. So if you want to make sure that I'm there, it's always best to send an email, katrina@blueborage.co.nz, or get in touch with me through one of my social media pages. So hope that was useful. That is the case study of the Tuakau Museum and how we are managing the invasive weeds there.